Ladies and gentlemen, if you live in the Midwest, you need to prepare for what's coming your way. Apparently, there is a dangerous blast of Arctic air coming your way. And I checked the temperatures, and some of them are like 40 below zero, in the 20s below zero. This is absolutely nuts. This is absolutely dangerous. So please prepare now, because that is dangerous. Man, you guys are about to get nailed by an Arctic blast again in the Midwest. This is going to outline the 2019 vortex that you guys had over there. Remember back in January 2019, Postal Service was suspended in that part of the country, and there were reports of 75 below zero wind chills, and there were reports of 77 below zero wind chills. And sadly, many people froze to death during that vortex in 2019. A man in Wisconsin froze in his garage back then. Not good. And what's heading your way is going to be a repeat of 2019. When they had to stop Postal Service due to weather. I remember the 2019 deep freeze in the Midwest, and it was brutal. It was awful. The news was telling everybody about it because it was serious. My local news was talking about that. Was talking about how bad it was in the Midwest during that time period. That was some very cold air. It was so cold in the Midwest that everybody except first responders, medical care went to work at that time, and everyone else had to stay home. Remember that? Even the Postal Service had to be suspended due to that weather. And if we had that weather here, then we are going to be screwed. Texas had a deep freeze last winter. It was unusual for them. That was a disaster. I will never forget the Texas deep freeze last winter. It was awful. It was a brutal deep freeze for that part of the country that never experiences those temperatures. People were suffering down there in Texas during the deep freeze last February. So I hope you don't get it again. I heard a lot of bad things about it. The power was out for millions of people down there. Sadly, people died from carbon monoxide poisoning down in Texas. I saw icicles on an overhead ceiling fan. It was a mess down there when that deep freeze happened. If it does happen again, then you guys need to prepare for what is going on down there. I mean, the upper Midwest is about to get dangerously cold. Minnesota, the Dakotas. I don't know why you guys want to live there. I can't live there. It is nothing but absolute misery. I mean, Nebraska needs to prepare too. I mean, if you live in that part of the country, please prepare because some dangerous weather is heading your way. That Arctic air is building in Canada and it's going to spill down into the Midwest. Take this very seriously. You need to prepare your heat. You need to prepare your house for this. You need to prepare the most vulnerable people for this because this is not a joke. This is dangerous. And I hope the homeless people in that part of the country will be inside a shelter so they don't freeze to death because unfortunately every winter when these temperatures hit, homeless people freeze to death on the streets because they sleep on the streets. This is not a joke. And this Arctic air is going to last through when schools start to reopen after winter break. And I bet you there's going to be school closings due to it. I mean, I bet you those schools are going to have virtual learning days or completely close. Or even be delayed. I mean, because they're saying it's going to be dangerously cold over there. This is just like back in 2013, 2014. You are about to suffer through one of the worst winters probably since 2013-14. I remember 13-14 in the Midwest. It was brutal. I mean, it was so cold on January the 6th, 2014 that the governor of Minnesota had to shut down the schools in that entire state because it was too dangerous for every kid in Minnesota to walk to school. Even though people in Minnesota are used to that, but that is dangerous even for people that are used to it. I mean, and that is when schools closed right here due to extreme cold. No snow, but just plain cold Arctic air. But thankfully, we were not suffering through what Minnesota did. I mean, I remember back in January 7th, 2014, schools were closed due to dangerously low temps and wind chill. But we did not see those 40, 50 below zero wind chills, and we did not see those temperatures of 20 below. We didn't see that here compared to Minnesota at that time. That winter was brutal for the Midwest and Northeast. And it was pretty bad here too. I mean, I had to go to school until almost July of 2014 because of what happened during the 2013-14 winter season with the weather in this area. It was bad and it caused a lot of school closings and we had to make up days and we didn't get out until almost July. And then they fixed that the year later. I mean, people in the Midwest are going to have to prepare now. Kids in the Midwest are going to have to prepare for the possibility of your schools being shut down next week. Because I checked and this Arctic air is going to be around after Christmas vacation is over and schools start to open. This is no joke. I hope those people up there are safe, and if you don't like that type of air, please go to the south. I mean, if you don't know how to cope with that cold, then don't live there. Live somewhere warmer. This is not a joke. The reason why we're seeing this is because the polar vortex is weak because of the warming Arctic. The Arctic is seeing the greatest amount of warming from the rest of the planet. I mean, we lost a lot of sea ice up there. I mean, it was just confirmed that it reached 100 degrees in Siberia last summer. Just a couple weeks ago, they confirmed it. 100 degrees in the Arctic. That means there's something wrong with this planet. I mean, you need to wake up because climate change is not a joke. Look at the amount of extreme weather we have experienced in this country this year. And unusual weather like the Texas deep freeze, the Pacific Northwest heat wave. And we've seen a multi-state tornado outbreak in December. This is stuff not out of the ordinary. Some of it is not out of the ordinary, except for the Pacific Northwest heat wave and Texas deep freeze. And we've seen flooding in the Northeast, in New Jersey, and in New York. This summer, the power in this house went out like 4 times due to a storm. So I exactly know things are changing. Things are not the way they used to be. Our power grids are not the way they used to be. I remember losing power several times this year due to extreme weather. This is what we're going to see in the future. Weather that takes out our power. I mean, because of our power grids in this country. I think we need to upgrade our power grids in this country so they can withstand the increase of extreme weather we're going to see across this country. And the increased load due to heating and cooling. So I hope those people up in the Midwest are safe, because what is heading your way is dangerous. Bye.